All right, trucks at Rockingham. So 14 to 1 plus 0 and 57. Brake bias, that is not going to, you can mess around with that. 14 to 1 is just a preference, of course. You can definitely go lower if you feel like it. And then the brake bias, I think you could go a few ticks either way and still be completely fine. It's all about how you feel in the car. Not going to be a ton of brake in this car. We're going to want to mostly let the car rotate on its own. Should be a second lap, hot lap. I don't know if there's enough grip here to make this work. Yeah, it's just a little bit less. So yeah. So the line is kind of like Darlington 1 and 2, where you enter mid-high, let the car slide up, and then throttle the car off the wall. Go over that a little bit more later. Here's our run-up. Stay on the gas really early. Very good. Point, put the car in the middle, and throttle off the wall, get the car turned all the way down to the yellow. Overslow the car just a little bit to make the exit a little bit more comfortable. Let's push it a little more. Let's actually do a third lap here. Let's not be comfortable. Exactly what I was looking for. Okay. Not quite as deep into this corner as you would think, because we want to throttle really early like that. Get the car turning. Going to be a little bit more room here than you're used to, then all the way down here. There we go.
New back flat for you.
So, you know, typical cheater, third lap, hot lap, but that got me warmed up, I guess. Okay. So, for the run up here, really like to start up high and then cut the car down to make a straight line exit. And then you would think that you want to save a little bit of time by going low here, but you just can't set up for turn 1 early enough if you cut down low. So what I'm doing instead is staying more up high, but here's the big thing. You're going to hit the wall 100% of the time if your nose is not pointed off the wall before entry. So you could do the same exact pedal inputs as I'm doing, and you could even be turning your wheel. But the moment that your nose is straight as it enters here, you're dust. You're done. I was gonna say you're dusted. Done and dusted. So you can see how my nose is pointed low here, and that allows me to ride the brake, add the wheel, and then the car only slides up moderately here, to the point where I can throttle the car off the wall. And that's the goal. You want to throttle the car off the wall so that it turns you down. It's not going to be good enough at Rockingham to get on the throttle and then stay up by the wall, because this turn 2 exit is just too tight. You have to be able to turn the car off the wall, or else you're not going to be able to have a good exit. So the throttle, you have to wait long enough on the throttle to where the car turns down under the throttle. And then the exit becomes easy. If the exit is hard, that means you're jumping the throttle too much. But if you're not jumping the throttle too much, then the exit's easy. Should be all good to go. Turn 3, it takes a little bit of bravery in turn 3. Turn 1 and turn 3 are such different corners that you just have to approach them completely differently. Even if the line looks the same, you see how early I'm jumping the throttle here? And how I'm not making the car turn back down there. So we don't need the car to turn back down the track very much on turn 3 and 4. So because of that, I have to slow the car down more, because look at the angle of the corner is much sharper. So I have to slow the car down more, but the moment I make the corner, or even come close to making the corner, I just jump the throttle and then keep it by the wall. So don't attack these corners the same way. 1 and 2, you have to get the car to turn back down. Turn 3 and 4, you do not. So jump that throttle really early in 3 and 4. One of the worst things that you can do at a track that's a little asynchronous like Rockingham is to get in a rhythm where you're attacking both corners exactly the same. That just means you're slow in both corners. You want to be doing very different things, even if the line looks the same here. Let's talk about a full different line though. Running the bottom for tire saving. You can admittedly run the top and save enough tires here, and it'll definitely end up there as the run goes on. But some of the best people are able to just roll bottom. Especially in 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is the much better place to run bottom because you have loose. Because you have a lot of runway on exit. 1 and 2, you do not. So if you're gonna run top anywhere, it's 1 and 2. But you can see, like, I'm just not jumping the throttle here because I'm not gonna have a very good exit. Still, 2/10 slower, and I was just chilling. It's not the worst thing in the world. 3 and 4, I should be able to only be like 1/10 slower if I actually get a good corner here. No, it was still 2/10 slower. Let's do it again. Roll bottom. You want to still get a little bit of a turn down there. That's what I'm looking for. And only 10.5 slower there. You still want to jump this throttle really early in 3 and 4. I got a little bit tight on entry there because I overdrove it, and that cost me a lot of time. Being 3/10 off of qual is like borderline to being race viable, I think. That's pretty race viable, although I don't think that's saving a ton of tires because I was working pretty hard to get there. This is race viable. Like, that's fine. That was really good. So really, you might end up doing like a really easy 1 and 2 line. Like that is not horrible on tires because I didn't overdrive entry. And 3 and 4, I just really like for easy entry into here and then hard off. Like, that's really good. That's really, really good. So yeah, let off early. Let the car do its own thing up to here. And then once the car turns back off the wall, just don't add too much wheel to it. Make sure that your car's going in the direction of where your wheel is expecting it to go. And it's not going to be horrible. Still going to wear more than the bottom, but I really do think that bottom 1 and 2 can get really sketchy. And you could be wearing tires down there anyways with a couple wrong mistakes. I always like the idea of alternating. See, like, that's wearing tires because I'm just sliding all over the place. I always like the idea of alternating lines because to me it's like it's working different parts of the tire and giving other parts of the tire a break. Ow. Why that wall stick out so much? So like if sure, it might wear a little bit more tire to run this top line and screw up. It did. It might wear a little bit more tire to run the top, but if it's using a different part of the tire than what you're using when you're running the bottom, that could end up balancing out things more. That's not anything I have super concrete evidence to show for. That's just my vibes of it all. And you see we're wearing the tires evenly, so can't ask for much more than that. All right, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope to see you all on the track.